How's finals week been with practice?
It's always difficult. Guys are studying. Alfred wasn't at practice yesterday because he's taking a final right now that goes till 2:30. He had to spend all his time to study for that. Everybody else was there yesterday for practice, and we went for about an hour and 15 minutes just to get some conditioning and run up and down, so we don't lose too much conditioning-wise. I didn't want to. We took Friday off, coming back from Texas, and then take Monday and Tuesday off. That's 3 days out of a 5 or 6 day period. There would be too many. So today, hopefully, we'll have a better practice. We still have players who have. A number of players who have finals on Friday morning. A number of kids had papers that were due today. So I'm sure there's still some all-nighters that took place last night, as all of us can remember way back when.
Are you going down there Friday?
Yeah. We have practice down there. We're putting on a little clinic for the Special Olympians. And then we'll practice after that. And then there's a dinner that I'll be attending for the Wooden Classic Friday night.
Is the concern coming out of finals just their mental fatigue going through it, or just that their mind hasn't been on basketball?
Well, it's always hard when you're, especially at a place like UCLA, which aren't that many places like it. It's very rigorous, very competitive. You're competing against other great students in the classroom. It's tough, and so sometimes it's just lack of sleep. People are staying up and studying until 2 and 3 in the morning, and in preparation for the finals. It's hard. It's just difficult. It's not the normal routine that you're in most of the time when you're in finals week.
So is this a week where you can get anything done, or is it just trying to maintain where you're at from before?
Well, yeah, I think it's difficult to be adding a lot of new things or putting in new stuff right now. I mean, you're trying to focus on history, English, sociology, community, whatever it is. And that's what makes it tough, is we're playing a team that's a good team in DePaul. Coming out of finals week is a very difficult thing to do. Typically we've had a home game in Pauley Pavilion coming out of finals, and not against a big Easter, opponent like DePaul. And they've got some good players. I mean, I've watched film on them. Tucker's very, they played Cal at Cal. It was a 1-point game with 3 minutes to go, and they had a good chance to win. And Cal's got a good team this year, so I think it's indicative that these guys are good. You have a big African kid from Sudan, Koswal, double guy, averaged double rebounds and double points. Dar Tucker from Michigan is a very good shooting guard, 6'5", 215 pounds. I mean, they're going to be tough. They're well coached.
Will you mainly run Tucker?
Pardon me?
Who will guard Tucker?
We'll end up starting Drew on him and then go from there. He's very strong. I mean, he's good.
What do they present defensively?
They'll play both man and zone. They play man-to-man and pressure and get after you, and they also play a 2-3 zone. They'll do some pressing.
Can you talk about the teams that the Wooden Classic is getting now? It seems like there's so many tournaments, it's hard to get the premier teams. Is that sort of disappointing that this tournament?
Well, it never was a tournament. It was never
The Classic.
a classic. It
Right.
was 2 teams. And as you remember, going back, I don't know how long ago it was, but there for quite a while you could only play in so many exempt tournaments. In other words, you could play in 2 every 4 years, I think the rule was. Now they've changed it back. You can play in an exempt tournament, meaning 1 game counts if you play for 4. For example, we played 4 games in the Coaches versus Cancer. That only counts against us as 1 game. It's advantage to get more experience and play more games. So there's a lot of teams that have the opportunity of that now, and you'll see, like for example, ESPN is creating tournaments for television, And so you have a lot of competition for teams because these teams are having a lot of different opportunities to go, everywhere.
Do you like that? Do you not like that? Do you like that there's more opportunities or no?
I think it's, overall it's good, but it makes it more difficult for, like for example, the Wooden Classic, where you only have, 4 teams and it's a 1-game deal. In other words, that 1 game, some teams would rather go play if they can't get to an exempt tournament as opposed to playing just a single game on a neutral side. I think the first year I was here, Stanford was in it with us. The next year it was Arizona was with us. And then I can't remember beyond who it was in that 3rd year. But 1 year it was Mississippi State and Arizona, it was Stanford, Kansas. So, I don't know, and I can't really speak for them. We have nothing to do with how they put the teams together, so I don't really have a great feel for it. That's just my observation.
You talk about Jameson Morgan's progress in practice, and do you see his playing time sort of gradually increasing?
It's all about, him competing for minutes. He's got, for him to play more minutes, it means he's got to beat out Alfred, and he's got to beat out Drew Gordon. And right now, both those guys are ahead of him.
What is he struggling with, I guess, in practice? What are you working that he needs to improve on?
Just, defensively, being able to get out. Like you can see, for example, and you can watch in college where there's a lot of ball screens, being able to get out away from the basket and hedge those screens and then get back to his man. It makes it difficult for big kids today when they're asked to play out against the teams like Texas, for example, did a very good job of coming out and screening on the ball and then rolling to the basket. And it's all new for him and not easy. If we were a zone team, it'd be easier for him. He could just stand there in the middle. But I don't think that's how you're going to win.
He's playing fewest minutes of any of the freshmen. Is that how you would have foreseen that before the season started?
I didn't know what to expect. I don't make any preconceived judgments necessarily. It's all based on, how guys compete and how they produce, both in practice and in the game. Like, for example, I saw Drew Gordon. I thought that in our last game, Drew had his best game of the year, as I said after the game. And you look at his rebounds per minute, I think he has, he may be leading the team in rebounds per minute. And we're not a great rebounding team, per se. I think we can be a good team, so that's a definite thing that we want him to continue to do.
Might he get more time playing the 4, Drew Gordon?
It wouldn't be him playing the 4, no. If anybody played the 4 after James and Nick, it would be Alfred. It would still be difficult for him to match up on foremen, especially college foremen, to play out on the perimeter, and he has to guard a guy who's, a guard skilled type player that plays out. For example, it would be hard for him to match up and guard a guy like Nick in practice. Coming off screens, picking and popping. So the answer is no.
Is there a possibility then that Alfred could pick up some minutes at the 4?
And we'll see how things progress.
As a group, how has this freshman group progressed, do you think, in terms of how you might have, foreseen that, they progress?
I always think it's difficult for freshmen. And it's, for example, it's very, very hard when you're coming in and learning things for the first time and doing things differently for the first time than you've ever done before. Whether, for example, like trailing shooters. You talk about at the college level or at the NBA level, in order to stay with really good shooters, you've got to be able to stay right with them, be right on top of them. That's new. That's not what a high school kid normally learns. That's like a new habit. And habits are something that take place over the course of time, developing new habits and repetition of whatever it is that they're learning is the key to developing those habits. And so, it takes time to develop that repetitiveness in things that you do day after day, play after play, over and over again.
did people maybe get a little spoiled last year with that unbelievable freshman group that kind of came through the Pac-10 and the whole, in terms of expecting the next year and the next year for guys to kind of
I can't speak for people.
but in general, I mean, people just forget how hard it is for freshmen and look at those guys. And
Yeah, I mean, last year was an exceptional group when you look at not only, you know, Kevin and Mayo and Bayless, I think those were the three kids that were lottery picks out of our league that were freshmen, but, you know, Rose, cross country, Beasley, kids like that, and it was a unique year.
With Jeremy Anderson, I know you're 7 games in. How do you think he's doing as a freshman compared to other freshman point guards you have, and what do you see as his potential?
I think Jeremy's going to be a good player. I think that, you know, he's learning how to, at this level, you know, for example, he's used to dribbling and jumping in the air and then deciding what he's going to do after he's in the air, and that doesn't work at the higher level. I thought he did like a great practice the day before he played against Northridge's 1-3-1 zone, and then you got into the game, the lights were on, the adrenaline's flowing, and then all of a sudden he flows back into what he normally did. And he knows to catch them. He's a smart kid. He'll figure it out. In other words, you're trying to change a habit of what I've always been doing to now what I need to learn how to do to cut down my turnovers. I think he's 11-11 assist to turnover on the year. And that's a little deceiving because he had 6 in his first game against Prairie View, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, and we'll continue to count on Jeremy to back up Darren.
How do you compare his feel for the game compared to other freshman point guards that you had?
Well, I think he has a good feel for the game. I think that he has a good understanding of the game. And he's a bright kid, so he's going to continue to improve. And he's under a lot of pressure every day, and then he's competing against Darren a lot in practice every day, which is a good thing for him. I mean, you know, you have that competition in practice every day. That's how you get better. And you look at, you know, Darren and Jordan competing against each other, and then Darren and Russell competing against each other every day when Russell was a freshman. It helped both those, you know, all those, and will help Jeremy as well. As I think it helps Darren. It's different than when the game lights come on and all of a sudden you get excited and you get the adrenaline flowing. I thought Jeremy had 2 very good practices when we got back from Texas on Saturday and on Sunday. Or excuse me, I guess it was just one practice, but he's had good practices.
So does he jump to pass more in a game than he does in practice?
Yeah. And what I'm saying is part of that is, you know, all of a sudden the adrenaline's flowing and it's just different. You're in the game and you're excited, and, you know, and it's also learning. God, you know, I got to do it how I normally do it. And, you know, it's a gamble. You know, you gamble and you know miss, and it's tough.
How much do you follow, I'm sure you don't have a lot of time, but what Luke and Kevin and Russell are doing?
Oh yeah, I follow. I read their stats every day. And,
Do you?
yeah, I follow along. And you know, Kevin's first game playing for Kevin McNeil was yesterday. He had 15 rebounds, but I think he was 2 for 9 from the foul line, which was tough because they lost a very close game. A game that came down to the buzzer. And, I felt bad for him because obviously he's a much better foul shooter than that. But I think he came out, probably played extremely hard, wanting to, you know, show Kevin what he can do. So I was, you know, watching that as I saw a couple of highlights late last night. I felt bad that they lost.
Do you text, any of those guys ever text you?
Oh, they're talking to our guys all the time. I'm trying to let them be,
Okay.
do their deal. I mean, I talked to a writer from Oklahoma City yesterday. They did a big article on Russell, and he was telling a really nice story about, I think each of the players donated $1,000, and they, you know, people that were really with families that were, you know, not able to provide, you know, a lot for their kids. They took them like on a shopping spree, and he was commenting how, you know, Russell was really genuinely enjoying, you know, helping these people pick out stuff, put it in their cart, you know, or whatever. I can't remember what store it was. It might have been Walmart. Just what a great kid he is, and so it was just nice to hear, you know, that people there recognize what a great person he is. Forget about the basketball player. And Russell's a great kid. You know, Luke's doing well. Played well against the Lakers the other night. And, so, you know, I'm happy for all of them. They've all started this year already as rookies at least one time. And I actually think multiple times, which is hard to do. You know, see, you know, Jordan's doing well, Trevor's doing well. Aaron's team, I follow his team, they're like, I think, and the big, you know, deal about, you know, are they better off or worse off with Iverson? That was all over the airways last night. The media, always like
Are you working more on free throws in practice?
we haven't this week yet because we've, like yesterday, we shot 25 and I had to let them go. But we will because we're not shooting them very well. James Keefe's a better free throw shooter than what he's done thus far. You know, telling the really weird stat for James is he has 1 assist in 7 games. So, you know, you would think he'd have a few more in that because he does get to touch the ball a lot in a lot of our different sets. So hopefully that will continue to improve. I thought the last 2 games, James played well in both games. Rebounded well and shot it well and defended pretty well against Texas and Northridge.
Do you see him playing with a lot more confidence maybe than last year?
Well, I'm sure he's more confident. Just from the standpoint, he's healthy. He had a whole summer and worked hard. And I thought the last 2 games, you know, his confidence is really starting to build, and especially in his shot. You know, he's shooting the ball with much more quickness and just, you know, taking the open shot when it's there and not thinking about it. And knocking it down. I mean, he made some quick early shots against Northridge as he did against Texas. You know, and I said Texas was good. You know, last night they won against Villanova in the Garden where most of the fans were from Villanova. They had taken the train up, and that was another good win. They're going to be right there.
I think you mentioned that a little while ago that you wanted Collison to shoot a little bit more frequently. Is that something, a dialogue that you had with him?
He knows that. You know, I want him to shoot jump shots more frequently. We have to try to get our offense to create more open looks for him, because when he's open, he's going to knock it down. I thought that Josh and he both did a good job sharing the ball the other night. You know, Josh, he and Drew Holiday, I think that Josh and Darren each had 6 assists, which was very good, you know, and penetrating and kicking to the open man. And then Drew had 4. So the last game, just in terms of assist percentage of baskets that were assisted on, was much better, and I think it helps us.
Is that, in terms of him shooting jump shots, I mean, when we talked to him after you had mentioned that, he still seems a bit hesitant in that way. He still seems to think of his main job being to distribute the ball.
I beg to differ. I think he looks to score quite a bit, and you know, so we've got to do just a better job of getting him more looks within our offense. But you know, I don't think Darren's ever hesitated to shoot first. I think he's a shoot first player.
Why do you think you might be struggling a little with defensive rebounding?
Who, our team?
Yeah.
I don't know that we are. I think that the stat you're looking at, which is, that there's a couple of different stats there. I think we're actually second in one of those and late in another, so you gotta look at the other
Yeah, on
stats.
offensive rebounding, you're second. Defensive rebounding, you're second to last.
There's 2 different stats in there that you have to look at, the way they compute it out. I think that we've actually done a decent job, field goal, or excuse me, defensive rebound. Field goal percentage defense has got to get better. You know, we're doing a decent job rebounding wise. Well, I think our rebound margin is 7 or 8 a game, and we want to keep that up.